Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I'm going to be sharing a flip through of my latest completed junk journal, and I used a really simple binding method with this using some waxed thread, which you can see in the centre there. And I used some cardstock and then put some scrapbooking paper on the front and back, and then used some fabric tape along the spine. And I'll leave a link underneath the video of a video where I've made a junk journal in this style. And I then just decorated a big paper clip with a ribbon and button to go on the front. So I started off by adding a tag in this pocket, and I decorated that using a napkin and added some writing on the back. I nearly always include lots of writing in my journals. I really like to have that space to just be able to get thoughts out of my mind. And in this journal I've used combinations of book pages, coffee dyed papers, scrapbooking papers and jelly print papers, and also bags and packaging. So I really like all the different looks in here. And if I want to do watercolour, I usually add a coat of gesso so that I've got a stronger kind of surface and protection on those pages. And I've really enjoyed using lots of tags and different elements in here. It's a really great way of being able to create some little writing spots on busy pages. So there again I've just added a little origami envelope and then tucked some writing inside. And that was an embossed piece of paper that I used my Sizzix Big Shot for, and then just added some watercolour. And this is from a shopping bag, and I've included photos and just a little bit of writing around the outside. Here again I've just used a nice tag on the top to be able to jot down a few thoughts. And for this piece of paper I used a punch down the side, so I've got that pretty flower pattern. And I should always tear up, again that was some brown paper, I think from some packaging, that I've just glued on top of the scrapbooking paper so that I've got somewhere to write. And this is some coffee dyed paper. In fact I've nearly run out, so I think I'm going to do some more coffee dyeing this weekend. And she's using a range of stickers and washi tape, and most of the washi tape has come from London Gifties. And I've used some of the ledger paper from my printable range, and I also tuck in little bits of happy mail. So this was a letter that came from Minnie Small in her Patreon rewards, so it's nice knowing that's tucked in there. Again, a bit more watercolour, that time on some matte paper. And again, this was a shopping bag, and then I did some, I think I put gesso down, watercolour, followed by some texture paste through a stencil. And this paper here is actually a jelly plate print, and really thin, but again I've just popped down some other paper on top so that I can write on it. And this I use in a different way to my daily journal. My daily journal tends to be quite factual about things that have happened, and this tends to be more about how I'm thinking and feeling at the moment. This came from Becca at the Happy Ever Crafter after I did workshop week. She sent a little thank you box with lots of goodies inside. So again, a lovely way to just make a few notes about how fun it was being involved with that, and the little thank you note from Becca. This I haven't secured in, but it was the Junk Journal July prompts released by Meg Journals. So I've popped that in there to remind me of the prompts that I was working on. And another little tag and some stenciling behind. This one I did some stamping on some vellum or tracing paper and just popped that over the top. And this prompt was fold out, which was perfect because I already had a piece of paper that was too big to put in the journal. I think, oh yeah, this was wallpaper and clashing patterns. So I had a lot of fun with the prompts that Meg released. And I just put in here any little photos, perhaps if I've popped some in my daily journal and have some left, I pop them in here. And for this one, I used an acrylic paint through a stencil that I thought was a similar colour to this bag, just to tie it in, and then went around the mask for this side. This was the page that I actually filmed for Junk Journal July, yeah, because I filmed it in June, that would be right, with the napkins and using die cut papers. I think that I created in one of the fodder school warm-up sessions. So again, just lovely to have a place to pop in all kinds of loose odds and ends. I've got a little pocket in there. I think again that was from fodder school. These stickers were sent to me by Suna at Kuroko Studio. Absolutely gorgeous, loved using those. So I always look for little bits of paper. It could be envelopes, shopping bags, paper that's in packaging, and just store them all for next time I'm making a junk journal. Now I've finished this one, I've started something slightly different, which I'll share once I've finished, but it'll be along the similar lines. And this came again in mini smalls, Patreon rewards, so lovely to pop in there and use it as a tip in. And this was a little thank you note from Abby C. She sent me some really lovely happy mail. I think I've got something else from her in a moment. And that was sent to me by Stationery Pal. So I tend to just keep a little collection by my desk of anything I receive in the post, so that once I sit down with my journals, I can just add it all in there. And this was a tag that I decorated recently. We did a creative challenge over on Patreon, which was all about creating different tags and ephemera. So it's really handy to have a pile of those, again, ready to use in my journals. So this was a postcard also sent to me by Abby C. And she sent me a copy of her new book, so I was lucky enough to be featured in it. So again, I've just printed out a photo of that front cover and a lovely little reminder for me of fun things that have happened during the year. These images were all cut out of large strips of tape from London Gifties, and I'll try and remember to leave anything I've mentioned linked down below. A lot of these scrapbooking papers are Tim Holtz brand. And again, I think that's another little thank you note from Abby C. I also like having different heights of papers. I think it makes it look really interesting when you flip through it. It's been a lovely journal to work in, this one. I've really enjoyed it. I've done it most days, but sometimes I'll have a week or two off, just depending on what else is going on. This postcard came from Sketch and Story in one of their subscription boxes. Again, really handy to use in here. Again, Kuroko Studios. This I filmed, this was for the free flow stitching collaboration video that I did with lots of other YouTubers. Again, some more little tags that I decorated. That one was just in coloured pencil. So it got nice and chunky this by the end because of the amount of different things that I added to the journal whilst I was working in it, and I absolutely love that. So we're nearly at the end. So again, a little tag. I think that one was from Taperlogy. And then just finished off with another decorated tag in that back pocket. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed seeing inside my completed junk journal. As I said, I'll leave a link for the video of how I've made a similar junk journal in the past. But I hope you enjoyed seeing how I use it and how I add lots of writing in this type of journal. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well. I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.